Guys, today we're talking about what can we learn through God's creation of the earth, the vegetation, the plants, the animals before human beings. So we're going to draw a line before God created human beings, right? So he did create a lot of stuff: firmament, the skies, the waters, everything. There's so much in place. We can deduce, and just from a scientific, a logical, or spiritual point of view, we can begin to understand God on a deeper level and apply it to our lives, our businesses, our families, and so much more. I think one of the first things that we want to understand is that there's harmony, right? The sun is not falling out of the sky, the moon is not falling out of the sky, it rotates. When you think about the fact that the water, right, can evaporate, it can condense, right? There's vegetation, right? So everything works together in harmony, right? Every part has a purpose. And I think that's beautiful because it goes to show that the ecosystem as a whole, not just the ecosystem, but when you think about the universe, we don't have universes slamming into us, Milky Ways and galaxies ripping us apart, and God having to re-put us together. It just goes to show the power of intelligent thinking, of intentional thinking. God was very intentional to create an ecosystem that has harmony, right? Birds eat, there's poop that's dropped, a seed is within it. That seed now has a fertilizer, can grow into the soil, can now become another tree. That, everything is harmony, right? It syncs with each other. And it also goes to show why, you know, when human beings kind of like go on a killing spree, or endangered species now become a thing, because we human beings have actually found when you kill off a certain species, that can affect the entire ecosystem. And now you have protected wildlife areas and endangered zones and endangered species, because we're realizing, whoa, everything God created is perfect. Us tampering with that actually tampers with our own livelihood and can wipe off and kill human civilization as a whole, as it is. So I think that's pretty dope to show that God values harmony. So how can we have harmony in our lives, in our businesses, amongst other people, and just amongst, you know um, our, our future? I think that's pretty dope. When I think about harmony for business, it's making sure that the products that I buy, the services that I create, everything is kind of intertwined to be of use, to be of beneficence to each other and to people too as well. I think one other thing that I really love about what God does is there's no wastage. Think about it, right? So you literally have every drop of water, right? Condenses, right? Evaporation goes into the cloud, condenses, it's coming back down, right? Vegetation, right? The vegetation can die, right? But it becomes fertilizer for new growth, right? Even sediment, soil, rocks, right? As big as a rock is, right? It can over time be broken down and it becomes sediment, it becomes soil, right? For the same thing for the trees and for the seeds to grow and to sprout and become all they can be, right? Nothing is wasted. Animal carcass, right? An animal is dead. Before you know, vultures can come eat of it. Plants, certain plants can eat of it. Insects, certain insects can eat of it. Or it eventually fungi begins to grow. There's fungi specifically designed for decaying or dead carcasses. And what does it do? It begins to actually break it down and create nutrients to create a richer soil, so that whatever grows in it has more nutrients to grow. Isn't that incredible that everything he creates, there's no wastage. There's no, well, we don't need that. And I think it goes to show his love in creation. And I think when we human beings create things with love too as well, it has more power, it has more priority. It's well received by others. Um, Here's a huge one. This one is incredibly huge. There's so much we can do as a human being, our creative potential. But I want you to think about this. God doesn't come back to create a new set of seeds, a new set of animals, or a new set of people. We inherently have the ability to self replicate. We need a opposite partner of the opposite gender, but we can self replicate. Within every seed is a tree. Within every seed is the ability to self replicate infinitely, right? Within one seed, it can populate an entire earth. That seed becomes a tree. That tree has multiple seeds on it. The seeds drop on the ground. Those multiple seeds become multiple trees, and those multiple trees have multiple seed. And it can just, so it goes to show like, wow, God is intelligent. So he wants to do something once and have its effect and its impact and its ability last forever. God, you don't see God coming down and saying, well, it's time to create a new batch of human beings. No. From two people, you can literally create an entire human civilization. Isn't that incredible? So I think it also goes to show the power of leverage, in business and life, just in general. And I think it goes to show we are definitely created in God's image and design because we're always trying to find ways of doing things more leveraged. Today we have AI, we have all kinds of like electronics and tech advances and things whereby you can just click a button and it does things for you. Are we as advanced as God? Not not there, but we notice that hey, we're all trying to create more leverage. You can send one email and it can go out to as many contacts as possible. You can create one book. So I think one thing to think about in our lives, in our businesses, our families, and things like that, how do we create something in such a way that we can create it once and have a ripple effect that gives a certain intention, a certain benefit for as long or as much as we want. That's such a powerful idea. Um, I think one thing that kind of comes to my mind is some of these tech companies, such as Facebook, Snapchat, a lot of the social media tech companies. If you notice, they kind of use that principle whereby, let's think about the early days of Facebook. You had Soil, which was the platform. The seed was, well, a person being able from a school upload their photos, right? Now, within that, it had a prompt to say, well, we want you to invite other friends or other people of your school. So it became one person becomes a seed that can spread infinitely. Well, I know 20 people, I know 30 people, I know 50 people, right? And all those people, right, uploaded, created their profiles, but then they got the prompt to say, hey, why don't you invite more people to come check out your photos and to share photos amongst yourself? So it became this viral effect, right? And it goes to show that wealth is created when there's intense leverage and value and the virality effect where a product can recreate or replicate itself with the least amount of effort or push, because having a prompt on the screen to just say, hey, look, share this with other people, here's a link, doesn't cost really that much. Doesn't cost it maybe almost bare nothing. So but you think about taking those principles to our businesses, right? Creating books, creating a course, creating a video, right? You can create it once, but it can be leveraged and infinitely pushed out there content, right? Created once, it can be infinitely put out there. And what does that do? It can bring wealth, it can bring fame, it can bring connections, it can bring literally any and everything. And I think it just goes to show that studying God's principles is just extremely powerful. Um, so it's very genius of that, and I think we do have to implement that genius in our life and our businesses, especially if we're looking for exponential growth and exponential success. One thing to pay attention to is that a lot of the new inventions are incorporating that leverage. Everything is kind of moving faster. You can click a button, you can order food, you can have AI write a book for you, do things like create artworks and things of that nature, because it's in our DNA to always want to create more leverage, to always want to create more speed, more value, because we're created in the image and likeness of God. I think one other thing that I saw that was really powerful was everything is self-balancing. Now, this relates to harmony, but I want to put a little bit of a spin on it. So, for example, yeah, you have seeds that can, or trees and things like that can produce, but there's natural predators. There's vines that can kill the tree. There's insects that can bore holes through the tree. There are even diseases, right? That these natural, not just trees, but insects can get these, predators can get these. So, one prey eats another, one predator eats another. Everything has checks and balances, right? So there's nothing that is just allowed to free willy roam, do as it pleases. No, even a lion, as mighty and as powerful as it is, right? Hey, we can kill it with a gun or a bomb or design a trap to ensnare it. Even us human beings, as great as we are, earthquakes kill us, right? There's predators such as sharks and lions that can kill us if they catch us off guard or ill equipped, right? So there's volcanoes that explode and kill people, right? Whirlwinds and tornadoes. So it goes to show that God values checks and balances. He wants what he creates to grow, right? But not grow out of control, not grow and become detestable, become a blight, become a horror, become a catastrophe, right? So the catastrophes, volcanoes, hurricanes, everything works together, prays to keep that ecosystem, to keep his world, right? Gravity is here to keep it balanced, to keep it in a cycle of growth, but not crazy growth, not, one insect has taken over the world. I think this goes to show that there's value in purpose, right? You have animals that are symbiotic, right? There's fish that swim under whales and sharks and into their fins and into their teeth to clean the debris, and they're able to help the sharks have clean teeth to feast on other prey while them themselves receiving the meal, right? So there's all kinds of symbiotic. There's things that live in rocks and they share their homes with others, or there's a mongoose that will alert monkeys if they see predator. Everything is self-balanced. It's really us human beings that, well, I got 50 nuclear bombs that can blow up the world, right? So we have to adopt the idea of self-balancing in our businesses, in our lives. So what that means, hey, I'm not going to eat so crazy so my system, my digestion, my health goes out of whack, or I'm not going to be so uh, engrossed in my business that I lose track of my family. My wife now wants a divorce. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take this medication, but I'm not going to take so much of it that I overdose, I die, or I have to be, hooked up to some kind of IV. In our business, I'm going to make sure that I produce quality. I'm not trying to gain so much clients that I neglect to actually serve them. And now I have mad clients that want a refund. My business is in the red. It's not really going the way everything's a balance, right? And it goes to show the power of checks and balances on the future that we're creating on as we're taking steps moving forward. And I think that's really incredible. I think the other thing is that God is incredibly intentional, right? So he doesn't do anything randomly or without aim. Everything seems to be truly thought out. There is no mistake, right? And it goes to show that he's a artist, a designer, an architect of the highest caliber possible. Such an amazing ability to be able to create all these things, to be able to do all these things, to be able to impact the world, to be able to, and I think taken away from that is to be intentional about the future that we're creating. A lot of us, our futures are very random. We don't know what we're going to create. We just take the day as it comes by. Learning from God, he's telling us to be intentional, to be thoughtful, to really dwell and meditate on what is it that we want our future to look like? Why is it that we want it to be that way? How do we work in balance, in harmony, in order to create that future and creating a future that isn't out of whack, that isn't out of control? I think all those great things to really focus on. Um, Guys, I have a book that's linked down below. It's super incredible how to unlock your God given abundance just by speaking to others. It's $7. Just go ahead, grab a copy of it for yourself. Also, I would love for you to join the Facebook group. It's going to blow your mind. We're just going to be able to chat all things God, business, life, and more, and just mastermind and being the best possible versions of ourselves. I think the next thing is, guys, look, if you want to jump on a call, you want to know a little bit more how to apply this to your life or business, Click the link below, schedule a call. Until next time, guys, let me know the videos that you want from me. And hit the subscribe button, man. You know, this is a lot of great stuff. I wish I learned this when I was younger. But hey, we're learning it now. We're teaching it. And again, this is like one of the best videos I've ever put out there just because of how mind changing and mind blowing. And it just helps me look at life so much differently. God bless. Pray for you all.